Most, if not all of you, already know that motion pictures is the art of audiovisual, through which stories are told or messages are conveyed in an entertaining way in order to grasp your interest and attention for a period of time.
Hey, come on in. I'm glad you made it. So I didn't have room at the house. Once my daughter was born, things got small, so decided to build a little post-production studio here. I mostly do one-to-one recording, focusing on audio post-production for film, whether it's commercial, narrative, but I like the big stuff. I like the big sound. I like the special effects. I love the Foley. I just love putting it all together and trying to make it sound bigger than life. So, you come on over here. I don't have anything too special, but what really is the important ingredient, the right plugins, the ability to know how to use them, using, I like to work, as they call it, top down. I just want to keep things organized, as visually organized as possible, so I know exactly what I'm working with. Oftentimes these projects will take 36, 42 different tracks just before we get into the mixing process and the mastering process. But I have a few little things that I just love to use. Primarily in my DAW, I'm using a lot of different plugins, and I have my go-tos and my favorites, whether it's Isotope, Ozone, or FabFilter. But the instrument sound quality, the special effect quality, it's just it's big, and I love big. There's a lot of DAW software out there. A lot of people have their own preferences. I've become very comfortable, and people will scoff at it, but I enjoy using Logic, and works for me very well. Haven't found any limitations. But so when I talk about putting audio together, sometimes people send me tracks of their band. I'll bring them into my DAW, and they want me to give a little bit of a mix. So maybe I can just give you a little example of what subtlety, just a little bit of subtlety, can provide to audio tracks that have been pre-recorded but haven't been put together and EQ'd and processed. Just to bring it alive and make it sound real. They sent me their audio tracks, and they sent them as WAV files.
The way a story is expressed on the television tube or silver screen varies drastically from one filmmaker to the next. The artistic freedom to interpret or to express an idea or a concept in motion pictures or audiovisual is tremendously flexible, as it also requires a long and painful process as well as huge collaborative effort with other creative individuals. The work that goes into making a film can be a daunting task and very expensive to achieve at times. There are three major steps or processes that are required in order to successfully make a short or feature film. The first step is pre-production.
No, it's just got to be somebody who's like fastidious and kind of. Julian's perfect.
Where's that printer? Downstairs.
Yeah.
The second is production.
Page 6, interrogation scene. Take one.
Interrogation scene 1. Before.
We'll just need one take. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
And action.
Is this your office? Is it? Because it's like kind of gross. It's kind of. Have you cleaned it? It's kind of bothering me. It's a little dirty.
And the last is post-production.
Famous music. I've been studying a lot about the process of the post-production and the field capture, of course. The live audio producer that got to get as good dialogue as you can, but most of the time the dialogue is coming in after the fact, and it leaves the producer an opportunity to even change some lines but also the environment, the ambience comes in after the fact, and all of the sound, walking, cars, kissing, breathing, all of that comes in after the fact, and being able to get the cues and the stings and the special effects. Nowadays people expect to have the full spectrum of audio, right down from the bottom where it, just kind of rumbles deep inside your chest, to be able to separate the different sounds along the audible spectrum, where you can place things just right so the audience really feels that they're there. And most importantly, the ears can really fool you. You never really want to oversaturate the sound. And even if you're in a big, loud environment, when we're talking with somebody and a bus is going by, our mind focuses our ears to make the conversation we're having louder, so we're able to hear that person even though the surrounding is blowing up around us. So we can't oversaturate the sound in a movie. If you really did that, it doesn't work. So putting the elements together properly, having them all working together and sounding right, mixing it in with the score and the special effects cues, that's what I want to do.
As simple each one of them may sound, they are all composed of many moving parts or elements that need to be bound together as a unit in order to produce the ultimate masterpiece that you will enjoy on the silver screen with your friends and family members.
I stole this phone, I stole this necklace, this watch, and oh, check this out, church. And I got this.
Well, let's break it all down, shall we? Before you even think of making a movie, you will first need to have a story or an idea that you want to express. Once you are inspired by the idea or concept, then you will need to put it down on paper. And this process or format is known as the script. Usually, the idea that you put on paper or the first write-up is considered as the first draft, simply because it is usually not the final or refined work. The basic standard format or number of pages for a feature film is 90 pages. But the limitation doesn't stop there, as you have your artistic freedom to make a movie that surpasses the 90-minute mark. Titanic and Gone with the Wind will be perfect examples of extended feature films. Now that you have your script depicting an interesting tale with all the characters and the locations therein, now the work and the headaches, if you wish to name it as such, has just begun, since there are a multitude of other things to prepare and collect.
We're going with you, don't fuck it up, alright?
So what am I doing?
I like
You what?
There it is.
Yeah.
okay. I like your vibe.
And you're gonna be interviewed, so they're gonna be in the makeup chair after Kaylee.
Newest version, definitely not the last. That very last scene is now broken into 4, so don't pay attention to that. We're gonna just improvise the rest of it.
Oh, these
Then
are
we're
the
gonna
manual
figure
ones.
out
The other
who
one
spends
Todd
more.
has.
Who
6
spends
of
more.
What's this noise?
No, you know what it is, Martha?
Maybe they have to stop at noon this Saturday.
You're gonna have to,
We're just gonna go with our actor because
We're
he's
gonna
here.
Why did it go from OCD to ADD? OCD?
Yeah, it did. They thought that was much more offensive than ADD. ADD is like, it's okay now to make fun of it. OCD is still dangerous.
It wasn't OCD, don't they?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm
Some
just
do.
I'm going with the Purell.
same kind of.
We're focusing on ADD, so if we had something else, maybe we could just say that.
if you and I, if you could do something else where you keep losing focus, oh, I'd like it. Pick my nose, even better.
Go downstairs, the two of you, and we'll shoot the scene right now. We're gonna ad-lib, there's no script.
Okay, what
For that,
And she's like, nobody can ad-lib like her.
Yeah, but
What, you don't want me to talk to him?
functional retard. What? I don't know if I can do. I'll fix it.
Was this ever gonna have self-hating, self-flagellating, and all that kind of crap? No, it's not going there.
No,
Okay?
no, no.
You're both professionals, even though you've never acted. This is gonna be great.
You're professionals.
I think I'm brilliant.
Never
Wait,
acted.
wait, who's the, is
He's
he
gonna be the
interrog-
cop. Yes.
I'm
Oh, okay.
interrogating you.
Oh, you're
I gotta come up
interrogating
with a line.
Okay, don't worry, I'll just keep going. You don't have to worry. So
Yeah.
wait a second.
And we
But
can
they're
still
quick.
get out of it
He's,
anyway.
he's
We should change
interrogating
the
me.
makeup.
Why? Because they caught me because I'm stealing things?
Yes.
All right. Do I care?
Money, the street devil as we call it, which all too often you need a lot of it to make movies of great magnitude or bigger production value. Nevertheless, we will not let that scare us away if we don't have the ability to break a bank, since good story, great acting, and wonderful collaboration can serve as a passport or visa to bypass the megabucks that will be required for a big project. However, you will always need a budget of some sort, whether huge or small, because somehow you will always have to spend some money when making a film. One thing to also consider or bear in mind is that people's time and skills are the equivalent of money. Therefore, appreciation must be displayed toward others.
Thinking about how beautiful he
Okay,
is.
okay, I got you.
And it cuts to the, the drone of him out there, and then Danny says, "Dad, you look terrific."
Okay.
Because it's like, you think he's like some kind of drag queen, and then you never, and then he just says to the kid, this innocent kid, Dad, you look great.
Production time is the physical action or of gathering all the players with the necessary tools or equipment at the designated location in order to call lights, camera, and action.
That's good. Got it.
This process is subsequent to all that is required at the pre-production stage in order to execute it as a blueprint for maximum potential success in transforming a concept or an idea into a reality on the silver screen. Despite having a pre-production plan, note that things don't usually go as expected in filmmaking, but planning is surely much better than improvising. After wrapping up with shooting the last scene of the script, we now enter the phase where magic will happen in the editing room. At this point, this is where every actor wishes that he or she was super nice to the film editor, as their fate and their aesthetic appearance are in the hands of the editor.
So before I open a project, typically the only automated fader is one. Now, have a much more expensive automated fader console, and unfortunately it's down. But so it's relatively important to me to have, just so it gives me sometimes an analog vision of what I'm doing, or to help me give a quick understanding, about where I may want things placed without prior to drawing in the automation. And so the automation project, and let's go ahead and open something up. And so this is a project that's already in the process of being mixed. And so if we open this up, you can watch the faders, and they'll correspond to the faders on my DAW. And then I can keep switching over, depending on how many tracks I have. Every time I'll move over to track 9, this switches over from 9 to 16. And then from 17 to 24, etc. It gives me 8 tracks consecutively. So now corresponds to my 4 bus channels and my acoustic guitars. A lot of people are getting rid of them because drawing in automation oftentimes, and just to give you an idea, now we're in the Are we in the automation mode? Now we're in the automation mode here. So I can draw in adjustments. How do I want to fade in or fade out, or pan left or pan right, or even just bring up the level, being able to duck that. But so oftentimes I'll just sit here and do that manually. Let's just say I wanted to change the volume. I can select, there's my baseline, and then I can select dots along here, and then I can draw the automation from there, and you'll see that it's going to move, and you'll watch it gets controlled by the fader as well. I can see it there, but I can put in as many points as I want, as many locations, draw it in any which way I want, drag it out. You know, you put in a couple of consecutive dots so you can move things up sharp. You know, drawing in the automation is essential for having the Foley flow in and flow out seamless for every track.
Even the director depends heavily on the editor's ability and creativity to translate his or her vision into this magical world of fiction and reality into the final product. The editor has the power or the ability to make an actor look good or incompetent on screen, depending on how he decides to make his cut. Normally, in the editing room, subtraction occurs more than addition takes place in order to reveal a more refined product that expresses the director's point of view in the final cut.
Editing, well, my philosophy is, in order to be the best at what I do and things that I may enjoy doing in the future, I'd love to have it. I recently wrote a script and with somebody, and we can try my hand at directing it, and a short piece, and going through that whole process. So if I want to do something like that, I don't necessarily need to be an expert in it, but I have to understand what all of the different elements mean. If I want to be involved in the editing process, I have to have a basic understanding of Premiere, and that's the tool that we'll be using. If I want to do layered special effects and a lot, different motion graphics, I'm using After Effects. So I definitely want to understand the elements that I'm looking for in the tool that'll be used to achieve that. When I'm looking at the audio, understanding all of the different elements of the audio and whatever Pro Tools, Logic, whatever we're using to put that back all together. So I want to understand that process as well. So I love to screw around in here with different things, and the beauty of it is I get to work with amazing filmmakers, Hugh Whitmack, Norman, Rick Macomber, and I really get to watch behind the scenes and see the art on your end. I mean, people can technically grab a camera, but to understand the focal length and which lens will capture the scene best, what type of movement to get, and to create the mood with the lighting. So that just inspires me, and I'm not. I'm at a level where I can have a lot of fun and maybe put together something all by myself. That'll be fun. A good group, a great crew where people really are passionate about the positions that they're, the jobs and what they're doing, filming, the audio, acting, producing, and the grips and the assistants. It's we're very lucky. I mean, we have great resources, and everybody loves working with each other. I mean, I'm too old to work with people I don't like.
Once the movie is complete, you then now enter the marketing phase, which requires a lot of time consuming and energy spent, as well as lavish expenditure. In this 48 Hours Film Festival, the filmmaker and his team have to make a short film from scratch, from having a story idea to writing, shooting, and editing within the 48 hours deadline and submission.
Let's roll the camera.
Speed.
Okay, this is second take of the final shot, and here we go.
So, how'd we do?
I got the latest issue of Mostly Homes and Gardens.
Nice. Don't tell me you stole the dog.
I didn't steal the dog.
How about you, honey?
Oh, I got a bottle of wine.
What happened to it?
Well, I drank it because I am, after all, Paulette Kubiak, the wine connoisseur.
Well, I think I made out almost the best.
Almost.
I got a banjo.
I hope the behind the scene of this video gives you an incredible insight of the work that goes into making a feature film and the appreciation that people who make it all possible deserve for their creative and hard work. Let's say if a filmmaker or a producer feels like as if he or they have the urge to cut off a bootlegger's head, I would not condone the idea, but at the same time, I would also understand their frustration. For On Camera, I'm with Mac Billow. Until the next time.